Can you stay happy every day? I have the answer for you in today's video, as well as a mental reframe that has been so helpful for my happiness, as well as one skill that is key to have for your happiness. When we reference if you could stay happy all the time, we have to realize that happiness is a state, not a constant. Emotions are fleeting. They come and they go, and it's totally normal as a human to feel sadness, anger, stress, all of those emotions, because we are human, and by function, we feel all of those different emotions. So no, you can't feel happiness all the time. But what you can do is you can have trait happiness. There's state happiness, which is like that joy of getting really good news, and there's trait happiness of where you are constantly not happy or not emotionally high, but you feel good about your life. And that's something that I focus on. I focus on trait happiness. How can I make sure that I'm fulfilling my purpose and making the most out of my life? And that is the reframe I'm gonna get into soon. With that being said, there are growing pains and growing pains. That is why it's called pains, because it's hard in the moment. So when you are going through trials and tribulations, it will feel hard, but you will feel amazing after. And so it is totally normal as you are on your journey, fitness, business, in your family, in your relationships, whatever. It's totally normal to feel very hard in the moment. But once you get past that monster, get past that boss, you will feel amazing after. And that's where we look at making the most out of your life, is because in the moment, it's hard to feel happy. But if you can reframe from trying to feel happy all the time to making the most out of your life, and that's the mental reframe that I was referring to earlier in the video. This reframe has changed my life. Making the most out of my life is something that I can do constantly. I can always look at my situation, look at what can I do to make the absolute most of the situation? What can I do to feel the best about the situation? So for example, my email system that I just built, spent a bunch of time on, went down and it started going to spam. So I had to rebuild it. I rebuilt it and I thought, you know what I can do to make the most out of this situation? I can view this as something that is another trial of my growth. I can view this as something that's gonna make me better at understanding the system and how to put a client acquisition system together so I can do it across more platforms outside of email. So I was focused on making the most out of it. And another thing that came up for me was making the most out of this situation would be to not quit, because quitting is the only way I can lose. In the game of entrepreneurship, it is a game that you never stop playing. And so you cannot lose unless you quit. And so that was making the most out of the situation. For me, it was finding a way to not quit. So how do you make the most out of your life? If you're looking for joy, which is totally normal and understandable, you want to focus on small, meaningful experiences. If you just need that little shot of dopamine, you need that little bit of joy, I understand, I've been there. If your life's going it's really hard, it's not going your way, I understand that. The best way that I've found to get instant joy is being grateful. Being grateful for what is around you. What experiences have you been so fortunate to have? What things do you have in your life that others do not? What are you just truly grateful for in your life? As well as connections or volunteering. So connections, whether that's social connections, family connections, whatever, but also even more impactful than that in terms of my joy has been volunteering. One of the best experiences I had as a kid is I was about 10 years old and my dad's like, okay, we're gonna go to Target, you're gonna pick out a little action figure and we're gonna bring it down to the homeless shelter. Mind you, this is Christmas. This is Christmas that we did this because we knew, at least I knew that I was so grateful that I had these experiences and these toys. My dad made sure that I understood that. So I didn't know at the time, but I knew after. And so I volunteered and we went down there and we gave the toy to someone. And it was a great experience. It's something that I will absolutely never forget. And so that gave me instant joy. It wasn't comfortable in the moment as a 10-year-old going down to the homeless shelter. It's something that is actually quite uncomfortable. But on the car ride home, me and my dad were discussing back and forth, like what I learned from the experience, stuff like that. And I realized, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful for what I had, and I volunteer and able to give joy to someone else. So volunteering to give joy to someone else can be really helpful. And the final thing you can do for instant, immediate joy is lifting. Lifting, or exercise for that matter, can instantly boost your mood because it has natural mood and endorphin boosters. So that can be very helpful in creating instant joy. And you also what you want to do is shift joy to progress and purpose. And that's a function of making the most out of your life. So instead of me trying to be happy all the time like I was in the past or trying to chase that joy, I try to chase progress and purpose now. And by doing this has helped my happiness because I have a sticky note. It's one of the only sticky notes I have in my office that says the work is the goal. And I got that from Alex Ramosi, and it's helped me focus on the quality and the quantity of work that I do and the action that I take. And it's helped me focus my happiness based upon that, how I feel based upon that. And at moments, I do feel bad. In moments, it does feel hard. But by focusing on purpose and progress, one of the only other sticky notes I have in my office as well on the other side is why keep going? Why do I keep going? It's for the younger version of me. It's for the 11-year-old that I saw in the hospital. I went to the hospital when I was 17 for some pretty serious mental stuff, and I saw this 11-year-old who was really struggling. I became very angry with the world, and so it's one of my reasons to keep going, as well as my future children. Those are the 3 reasons that I keep going, and this is a function of progress and purpose, because that's my purpose. My future children, the people that are less fortunate than me, and the younger version of myself that set out on this mission. And so by shifting from joy to progress has been very helpful in making the most out of my life. As well as one final function that I do to make the most of my life is living in the present. And the way I live in the present, I use yes or no time. And the way I see this is, yes, I am working right now. No, I am not doing anything else. So it's simply a function of focus. So if I'm out with my friends, yes, I'm with my friends. No, I am doing nothing else. So simply a function of focus by saying yes to one thing, and I believe the one thing that I'm saying yes to is the thing that is right in front of me, the thing that is in the present, that is the single most important thing, which I should be focused on to make the most out of my life. Because making the most of my life, in my definition, is making the most of my time, because time is the only non-renewable resource, so it only makes sense for me to focus on what am I spending my time on right at this moment. And so I am making the most out of my time by living in the present. The skill that you need that is key to your happiness is emotional resilience. It takes a certain level of emotional resilience to continue through these things and to make the most of your life. So you need to build it to handle challenges. Life is inherently hard. It's not easy to go be an adult, do all these things, raise a family. It's hard. And so by doing this, by developing this emotional resilience, it allows you to bounce back. And the only way to develop emotional resilience is to get hit in the face and come back and not quit over and over and over. So the only way to flex this muscle and get it better is to go get hit in the face. So you have to go challenge yourself, go through the hard times, not be happy, to be able to build this emotional resilience so that you continue to grow. The problems I'm facing today, the work I'm doing today, past Chris would not have been able to handle. Past Chris does not have the emotional resilience and the skills to handle the things I'm doing today. And so I had to build this emotional resilience so that I can handle the problems, and then I continue to build this emotional resilience so I can handle the problems of the future. Because you'll just continue to make bigger and bigger mistakes. Successful people, I found at least, make about the same amount of mistakes as unsuccessful people, but the only differentiator is how they react to it. So you can control how you react, and that's a key function of how to build your emotional resilience. As well as a key way you can do this, an actionable step you can take, is to reframe setbacks as opportunities. Instead of being sad about your setback and down by the hard times that you're facing, rise up and be able to understand and see this as an opportunity for growth. It's an opportunity to you have a better story. So for me, as I'm building these client acquisition systems, as I'm doing these things, I've probably sent about 10,000 cold DMs. And in that time, I've been able to see this as an opportunity because it'll be a better story. It'll be the story I tell one day. To my future children, to the few people of the world, all of those things, I will tell them that I sent all these DMs, and it is so hard, and my system went down, and I had to rebuild it, and I'm gonna have to rebuild it again, and I'm gonna do all these different things so I could come back and I could win, and win in my sense, and it's serving the people that I wrote down earlier as I discussed, winning in that sense, and using that as a story for the future. And the final thing you could do is develop your action. Take action. Habits to help your well-being is what's going to be most important. Like I said earlier, exercise, gratitude, volunteering, and social connections are going to be your action that you can take if you want immediate joy. But as well as focusing on your purpose and your progress is going to be the second thing that you can do in terms of action to help you make the most out of your life and shift from focusing on this permanent joy to making the most out of your life. If you liked this video, please comment the specific reason you liked it or what other videos you guys would like me to make. My job as a creator is to serve you guys, to hopefully educate you in my frameworks and what's worked for me, and hopefully share those things so they help you. Please comment what you liked.